Saint Augustine commentary on our Lord's Sermon on the Mount, Book 2, Chapter 2. Therefore, when you do your alms, says he, do not sound a trumpet before you as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, that they may have glory of men. Do not, says he, desire to become known in the same way as the hypocrites. Now it is manifest that hypocrites have not that in their heart also which they hold forth before the eyes of men. For hypocrites are pretenders, as it were setters forth of other characters, just as in the plays of the theatre. For he who acts the part of Agamemnon is tragedy. In tragedy, for example, or of any other person belonging to the history or legion, which is acted, is not really the person himself, but personates him and is called a hypocrite. In like manner, in the church or in any phase of human life, whoever wishes to seem what he is not is a hypocrite. For he pretends, but does not show himself to be a righteous man, because he places the whole fruit of his acting in the praise of men, which even pretenders may receive, while they deceive those to whom they seem good and are praised by them. But such do not receive a reward from God, the searcher of the heart, unless it be the punishment of their deceit. From men, however, says he, they have received their reward. And most righteously will it be said to them, Depart from me, ye workers of deceit. You had my name, but you did not do my works. Hence, they have received their reward. Who do their alms for no other reason than that they may have glory of men, not if they have glory of men, but if they do them for the express purpose of having this glory, as has seen above. For the praise of men ought not to be sought by him who acts rightly, but ought to follow him who acts rightly, so that they may profit, who can also imitate what they praise, not that he whom they praise may think that they are profiting him anything. But when you do alms, let not your left hand know what your right hand does. If you should understand unbelievers to be meant by the left hand, then it will seem to be no fault to wish to please believers, while nevertheless we are altogether prohibited from placing the fruit and end of our good deed in the praise of any man whatever. But as regards this point, that those who have been pleased with your good deeds should imitate you, we are to act before the eyes not only of believers, but also of unbelievers, so that by our good works, which are to be praised, they may honor God and may come to salvation. But if you should be of opinion that the left hand means an enemy, so that your enemy is not to know when you do alms, why did the Lord himself, when his enemies, the Jews, were standing round, mercifully heal men? Why did the Apostle Peter, by healing the lame man whom he pitied at the gate, beautiful, bring also the wrath of the enemy upon himself and upon the other disciples of Christ? Then further, if it is necessary that the enemy should not know when we do our alms, how shall we do with the enemy itself as to fulfill that precept? If your enemy be hungry, give him bread to eat, and if he be thirsty, give him water to drink. A third opinion is one to be held by carnal people, so absurd and ridiculous that I would not mention it had I not found that not a few are entangled in that error, who say that by the expression left hand a wife is meant, so that inasmuch as in family affairs women are wont to be more tenacious of money, it is to be kept hid from them when their husbands compassionately spend anything upon the needy for fear of domestic quarrels. As if, forsooth, men alone were Christians, and this precept were not addressed to women also. From what left hand then is a woman enjoined to conceal her deed of mercy? Is a husband also the left hand of his wife? A statement most absurd. Or if anyone thinks that they are left hands to each other, if any part of the family property be expended by the one party in such a way as to be contrary to the will of the other party, such a marriage will not be a Christian one. But whichever of them should choose to do alms according to the command of God, whomsoever he should find opposed would inevitably be an enemy to the command of God, and therefore reckoned among unbelievers. The command with respect to such parties being that a believing husband should win his wife, and a believing wife her husband, by their good conversation and conduct. And therefore they ought not to conceal their good works from each other, by which they are to be mutually attracted, so that the one may be able to attract the other to communion in the Christian faith. Not are thefts to be perpetrated in order that God may be rendered propitious. But if anything is to be concealed as long as the infirmity of the other party is unable to bear with equanimity, what nevertheless is not done unjustly and unlawfully, yet that the left hand is not meant in such a sense on the present occasion, readily appears from a consideration of the whole section, whereby it will at the same time be discovered what he calls the left hand.